Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, June 20th. Summer actually officially begins this evening, and right on cue, it'll be very hot today and tomorrow. In fact, it's not out of the question that today and tomorrow will actually turn out to be the hottest 2 days of the whole summer here in the Mid-Atlantic region, as temperatures will approach 100 degrees right along the I-95 corridor, all the way up from D.C. to Baltimore to Philadelphia to New York, all the way up to Boston. Not only this afternoon, but tomorrow afternoon, temperatures could approach 100 degrees. However, the good news is that this excessive heat over the next couple of days will be replaced by some less humid air over the weekend, and then even some cooler air for next week. A cold front will slide through the East Coast on Friday, sparking a few showers and thunderstorms, and we'll be confined generally in the 80s over the weekend with less humid conditions. And then another cold front will pass through the Mid-Atlantic region by early next week, and by Tuesday or so of next week, we could actually have high temperatures back down in the 70s throughout the same region that will experience highs this afternoon near 100 degrees. Let's take a look at the latest surface map. First of all, high pressure has set up right along the East Coast, a large high. From this location, it is now primed to pump hot air into the Mid-Atlantic region. On the backside of this high, there's a broad southwesterly flow of air. It was hot yesterday from the Rockies into the Central Plains, and that hot air mass is moving into the Mid-Atlantic region for today. Yesterday, Denver, for example, had temperatures way up in the 90s, and again, will approach 100 degrees right up and down the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Boston later on this afternoon, and again tomorrow. But here's the cold front to our west right here. This is going to end this excessive heat wave on Friday. We'll be moderately hot on Friday, but then behind that front for the weekend will be less humid with high temperatures in the 80s, and then even cooler air could move in next week. Meanwhile, out in the West Coast region, they're wondering what all the talk is about the heat, because they've been in a cool pattern, and it looks like that cool pattern out along the West Coast will continue for the next 6 to 10 days or so, with temperatures in many locations near the coast only reaching the mid to upper 60s during the afternoon hours. Denver will cool off considerably today thanks to this frontal passage. They were in the 90s yesterday, and they'll probably be in the mid-70s today. Well, I want to show a couple of different satellite images today. This is of the Atlantic, a visible shot of the Atlantic from the Penn State EWAL site, just to point out that there's a swirl of clouds here, and the National Hurricane Center has actually now named this Tropical Storm Chris, even though it's a little bit surprising because it's out over a rather chilly water, and it has will have no effect on land. It'll just slowly dissipate here over the colder waters. But National Hurricane Center has actually called this Tropical Storm Chris. Meanwhile, there's still quite a bit of activity here down over the Caribbean, and that will have to be monitored over the next few days. That very well could become a tropical storm, which will begin with the letter D. It will be the fourth named storm of the season, based on the fact that the National Hurricane Center has called this Tropical Storm Chris. Now here's the nationwide infrared satellite loop, and a couple things to point out here. First of all, lots of clear skies here where the temperatures are extremely hot. And you can kind of see the upper level wind flow pattern here. High pressure centered right here along the East Coast, and you have this flow of air right around in a clockwise motion around this high pressure area. And it's not surprising that you get quite a few thunderstorms and complexes of thunderstorms on the northern rim of that high pressure system, and so these are kind of rotate around with that upper level wind flow in this fashion here, moving from the southwest to the northeast, and then wrapping around from the northwest to the southeast as it approached the New England area. But here's that circulation associated with that Bermuda high, right where the excessive heat is for the next couple of days. Meanwhile, a batch of showers and thunderstorms down here from South Florida all the way down to the west coast of Cuba could evolve into the fourth named tropical system over the Gulf of Mexico over the next few days, so we'll have to monitor that situation as well. Well, here's the latest radar, and again, really, only thing to speak of are right here on the north rim of that excessive high pressure and hot air mass. Right here, again, this is kind of just rotating around in the flow, the upper level winds around that high pressure system in this fashion, which is a clockwise flow of air, and you could really see that on the satellite. Meanwhile, there are some showers and storms in southern Florida and all the way down in the western part of Cuba. And again, we'll have to monitor that because there's potential tropical storm development out of this over the next few days over the Gulf of Mexico. Well, let's take a quick look at a couple of GFS forecast maps. This is for this afternoon. Just wanted to point out a couple things. Yesterday we pointed to this isotherm here. This red line is 20 degrees at the 850 millibar level, and that's in the lower part of the atmosphere. When you see 20 degrees put out by a computer forecast model, you're talking pretty hot conditions, and in fact, that's the situation here in the Mid-Atlantic region, right from D.C. up to Boston, with temperatures approaching 100 degrees in many spots this afternoon. Let's now jump ahead to tomorrow afternoon. And here you go. Tomorrow afternoon doesn't look a heck of a lot different. We still have this 20-degree isotherm right here over the Mid-Atlantic, and that's because tomorrow looks like it'll be just as hot as today with, again, temperatures approaching 100 degrees. But here's that band of showers associated with that cold front that'll be breaking this heat wave on Friday and especially by the weekend, with lower humidity air moving into the Mid-Atlantic region on the weekend, and then perhaps even cooler weather next week. That's it for now. For the SIweather.com, I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.